This is a Soaak podcast.
Welcome to The Frequency Effect, sponsored by Soaak Technologies, where inspiration fuels innovation. Join our experts as they elevate your mind, body, and spirit, one conversation at a time. This is The Frequency Effect.
Okay, so we are here with Becca Fuller. Thank you so much for joining our podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're excited to get into it. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and dive in. I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Okay, my name is Becca Fuller. I am a cosmetic and paramedical tattoo artist, and my whole career is making people feel beautiful.
I love that. I will say that I have personal experience with Becca. She is my tattoo artist, and she has done all my permanent makeup, which I love and recommend to everybody who's ever wanted to do it. It's the best thing I've ever done for myself. So thank you for being in this profession and teaching others how to do it as well.
Thank you.
I love it more than she loves it because I get to wake up next to her every morning and her eyebrows are perfect. Her lip color is sublime. And it's just like you just got through putting on your makeup and it's automatic.
It's the best thing I ever did for myself.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool and painless and easy.
I don't know.
And just
Depends who you ask.
semi-painless. I didn't feel a thing.
Yeah, there you go.
Semi-painless.
Yeah.
Worth it, though.
But
Worth
great
it.
job.
Always
Yes.
worth it.
Great
Yes.
job. Great job. And you do most of your work in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and the
Yes.
surrounding
Yes,
areas.
absolutely.
I'm sure people fly in to meet with you
I do,
because
yes.
of everything that you do.
Yes.
So, but yeah. Okay, cool.
So
Go ahead.
you also have, you are an instructor as well.
I am
Explain
an
a little
instructor
bit about that.
also. So I am one of the programs that's approved in this state to train people to get their medical micropigmentation license.
Awesome. So
Yes.
if anybody, do they have to be a nurse or any sort of esthetician or licensed to come and be able to go through your program?
They don't.
Okay.
I am a little pickier than most because I really want to make sure who I take on as a student is going to make it. I don't want to just train people who are not in it for the right reason or maybe don't realize how hard the beauty industry can be.
Right.
So I tend to most of my people are some type of cosmetologist, lash artist, something like that to start with. That way they already have a basis of
Right.
clientele.
Clients. That's smart.
But you don't have to be.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So how did the idea for your company, Babe Inc., how did that come to life? When did it come to life?
How that kind of came to life was I was a regular makeup artist for about 10 years. And then after just some personal life experiences, I had kind of sat there and I was like, I feel like there's more. I felt like making people feel beautiful for their events was really nice, but then it would wash off.
Right.
And then they'd come to me and they'd be like, can you teach me how to do this?
Right.
And I'd be like, well, I'm a professional, so to give somebody this whole regimen and thousands of dollars of products to put on every day is just time consuming. No one has time for that. And I was like, I think I can make people feel beautiful every day and something that's like low effort for them.
Right.
And that's kind of how I kind of looked into permanent makeup and started going that direction.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
awesome. So one thing that I know about you is you very much have a brand for yourself.
Yes.
You love pink,
Yes.
which I love. Your whole website, everything, your car is
Yes.
pink. I love it so much. Tell
You've got
me.
a pink car
Yes,
I do have a pink
she's got
car.
the most gorgeous pink wrapped.
and it's not a Mary Kay
Mercedes.
pink
No,
car.
it's not Mary Kay.
It's Babe Inc.
Yes,
pink.
yes.
It's Becca.
Yes. Mary Kay is powder pink.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's different.
And
Yes.
what is yours?
Mine, well, I call it more bubble gum, but it's always metallic, so it's not Pepto.
Oh, cool.
We don't do Pepto.
Yeah.
So tell me, because I've always been curious, tell me where that came from.
The pink car?
Yeah, well, no, like
the-
your brand, like the way that you represent yourself and the color that you
Okay.
you love the color, but it is you, it's Becca, like all of
Yeah.
it.
So truthfully, it's me.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
This
what
is
I
your favorite
did.
color.
When I was starting out, I kept trying to say, okay, I need to fit into this box. This is what's accepted in this area. I would try to make everything more muted, very not me. And everything I did just didn't feel like it was working. So I was printing cards and I hated them. I was doing a website, I didn't like it. And I was sitting there and one day I was just like, you know what? I don't care what people think. This brand is going to be things I naturally gravitate to. It's going to be me. And once I did that, everything just went.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have now hit gold in this interview because we have now hit goldish pink in this podcast interview because that's what our company does. We try to teach people that when you start doing something that you love and you're passionate about, you never work a day in your life. But if you're trying to push a square peg through a round hole, it's difficult. And it really is frustrating. You don't want to get up. Like you said, I tried to print the business cards. I tried to do what other people thought I should do. It wasn't working. But when I slotted into what I love to do, everything just started, and you went like this, flowed. And I love that. We talk about flow motion, not slow motion, but flow motion. And when you get in that flow and you're doing what you love and all of that, then it all fits. So I would like to ask, take us way back to the Becca at 10, 12, 14 years old. What kind of a little girl were you? What were you doing? What were your hobbies? And how did you figure out that I'm not going to just fit in? I'm not going to do what other people think I should do. I'm going to do what I love to do. And walk me through that metamorphosis.
Okay. So I was always very girly.
Okay. Yeah.
I did grow up in the country, but I was always very girly.
That's hard to do in the country.
Yeah,
To be girly.
I know she is very a country
My mom
girl,
was
yeah.
very, she was a farm girl, but she was also very always put together.
Feminine.
And
Yeah.
And so I was always allowed to be myself. But of course, when you're school age, you try to fit in.
Right.
Well, at that time, everything was like tomboy and grunge, which is not me. I tried to fit in. It didn't work. I gave up. I was always the prissy one. I was always the one picked last in all the sports because I don't really like any sports. And so you want me to draw you a picture? Okay, great. But you want me to throw a ball somewhere? I'm not doing it.
No.
So that's kind of, when I was younger, I always loved beauty. And so I think I knew pretty young that I was going to be in makeup.
Yeah.
I'd like to say probably 5 or 6 years old. I was like,
Wow.
I'm going to be a makeup
kidding.
artist.
So cool,
Yep.
yeah.
And so I always had it, and I was always allowed to play with it and do whatever. So
because your mom, being the way she was encouraged
fine.
you to.
Yeah. The only time, and my sister would kill me for saying this, but the only time makeup got taken away was if it was bad. So if we did a good job, we got to keep our stuff.
No kidding.
Mine never got taken away.
Did your sisters?
Yes.
Yes. That's hilarious.
Yep.
So I guess you learned at a young age, like, you better be good.
Yes. Yeah. Because if we were wearing it and it was ridiculous,
Yeah.
she'd be like, okay, we're
can't
taking
do
that
that.
eyeliner away. We can't have that anymore.
No
But if you did
kidding.
it correctly, you could wear it.
That's
Yep.
awesome.
Oh my gosh. So then what led you to the point where you even tried later to be somebody else, and you tried to make your business fit a certain mold, but then you came back and said, this is not working. I've got to realign, recorrect things. Tell me about what happened there.
Most likely what happened there was when I worked for makeup brands, they had very specific brand images because they were
guidelines.
luxury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was like, we are this company and you wear beige and you wear black and you don't wear this and you don't do your makeup like this, you fit our look. So after so many years, which there are some more creative companies, I worked for a very nice one that was just wanted to keep their image,
Sure.
And so after so many years of, okay, we need to be this image, when you get out of that, it kind of took a minute.
Yeah.
To say,
because it's part of you now.
Yeah, like,
Yes.
what do I really like?
And then being in the same area, I'm like, oh, well, this is what works here in Tulsa.
Right.
You know, because I had done a good job with that career. And I was
Right.
like, okay, people like this here.
Right.
Well, then I didn't like it for me or my brand once I was able to do what I wanted.
Right.
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
The one thing that I love so much about you and your brand is you are so unique. And I think that is what draws people to you, is you're unique, you're very authentic, and you're obviously very good at what you do. But I love the boldness of you and of your brand, because it really attracts people to you, especially
you.
in what you do, because they're like, you know, if you're going to be doing something on me to make me look beautiful,
Right.
obviously you practice what you preach, essentially, you know. So
Right.
it's I just love that.
Thank
And
you.
for that, you're asked to speak nationally, and people want to know about you because of that being authentic, being
Yes.
yourself, being transparent, and being all you.
Yes.
I
It
love-
works so much better when you're just yourself.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So that's I'd like to go a little deeper on that too. So for people who aren't themselves and people who may be struggling with their own identity, they've been told all of their lives they need to fit this particular mold, but they don't feel right. Like what did you ask yourself? What was the process that you went through to get yourself kind of out of that? Or what would you suggest for somebody looking to find their own identity and have the courage to take that step? What would you suggest they do?
You really just have to stop caring what other people think,
Beautiful.
Yes.
which is really hard to
Amen.
do, but you really have to
Yeah.
stop caring.
Yes.
Wow.
So that's kind of, I think the day I do remember the day. It was a lady. She was really nice. She came into my office, and it was at the time we were in our first office, and it was decorated very, very pretty, but very Zen, Buddha.
Right.
Not me, but beautiful.
Yeah.
And I had on, at the time I didn't wear scrubs, but I had on like a really fun outfit. And it was, I feel like a holiday or something. And when I came around the corner, I thought she was about to have a stroke. And I was like, oh no, I don't match my business.
It hit you.
And at that moment, she was fine. She loved her work, but I just saw the look she gave. Because I came around the corner most likely in sequins because nothing else was me. And I was like, well, something's going to be me if nothing else is. And
my
that was the day
gosh.
I went home and I was like, I'm done with these business cards. I'm done with this website.
That's awesome.
I'm going pink. I'm doing my thing.
That was your aha moment.
It went her face. Yeah.
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 Wow.
That's good.
But-
That was
but-
just your realization that,
Yeah.
I'm not being myself.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
exactly.
being myself, but I'm not in the environment.
In
that
the
I wanna
environment, nothing else matched.
be. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And people, I always tell people they may never understand why you do what you do, but that's okay because they're not you.
Exactly.
Like you can't understand me for me because you're not me. You can support me and you can watch. And if I do my makeup right so it's not taken away,
Right.
like I'll keep doing it and I'll do a great job. But it's okay to the people out there listening who may be afraid to take that step. It's okay if people don't understand. Even your parents. I remember I altered and pivoted from one business to another, and my mom came to me and she goes, Henry, she goes, you've got this, you've got expense account, you've made more money than you've ever made in your life. Name me all these things. And it was almost convincing me not to go down the path that I wanted to go down, which is to be more of an entrepreneur. So even my mom, with great intentions, and she's loved. You're like you know my mom. She loves people. She's always for you. She's always encouraging you. But when she told me, she said, are you sure you want to do this? Like, I couldn't hold that against her because that dream was of being an entrepreneur was put in me, not her. She wanted to help me, but she really couldn't because I had that dream. So no matter what other people think or you said you got to kind of stop caring what they think. When you have that dream that you have to step out on and start executing, you just have to do it.
And a lot of times I don't go to other people for opinions because
There you
sometimes
go.
I don't want them. So like when I decided to
because
go,
you can get too many too, and then it confuses you.
negative.
Yeah.
Right.
There's always going to
Exactly.
be somebody who's like, play it safe, don't do it. So I
Right.
remember
Yes.
whenever I started thinking about going back to school and everything, I kept my mouth shut. I told like 2 friends, my husband,
Yeah.
and I think my siblings. And that was about it. I went back to school, did my thing, and then by the time anyone even could have said anything to have an opinion, I was already doing it. So I got positive opinions.
Yeah. Right.
Yes. Yeah. Because momentum
so
carries
smart.
that positivity. Like if you already start, if people think they can alter your actions or opinions, they'll do it early on.
Yes.
Right.
But if you're already in motion, it almost, it's very
Yep.
smart what you
Yeah.
did.
That's what
it almost
I did.
leverages them
I
to
didn't
say, yeah,
want-
let's
Yeah.
go.
I
And you
didn't
gotta-
want the opinions. I didn't want people
Right.
saying, no,
That
don't
is
do
so
it.
cool.
And that
So-
was you being mature enough to know you needed to protect yourself and
Yeah.
protect your own space
Yes,
until you got to where
absolutely.
needed to be,
Yeah.
which is very cool. So I want to dive in a little
love that.
bit more about your actual work, what you
Yeah.
do. Tell me a little bit more about everything that you do, like on a daily basis, as far as your permanent makeup and the.
Yeah. So I offer quite a few services. I offer full face, obviously. So brows, lips, liner. I offer scar for people that have had traumas or, well, typically it is a surgery or a trauma with the scar,
Right.
and then breast cancer tattooing. So I
Yes.
do the nipples after
Yeah.
the mastectomies.
That's so
Yes.
amazing. Wow. I bet women just, especially for trauma and stuff like
Yes.
that, it's so life-changing because you get used to your body the way it is. And then when something drastically changes
Yeah.
that's outside of your control, it really can do something to you emotionally.
It does.
And so having something like this that you can basically fix the outside appearance, I feel like does so much good for you emotionally too.
It does.
Which brings me to my next question.
Well, I got one more question
Okay.
too. Sorry, I just have to ask this. I'm very curious.
When it gets curious.
So you work in the Tulsa area,
Yes.
and you have people come in to see you and all that.
Yes.
But if people can't come in to see you,
Mm-hmm.
what advice would you give to make sure certain people have certain maybe qualifications or
Great
because I
question.
bet some of that stuff like on your face
Yeah.
could go wrong fast. Because when she told me she was going to first go to
Yeah.
you, I said, "Sweetie, don't mess up your face." You know,
He
like
was
that was
one
my
of the people
Yeah.
that tried to talk me
Yeah.
out of it.
no,
I was like,
I didn't try to
well-
talk you out of it. I was concerned because I didn't know you, and I
Yes.
didn't know the great reputation you had and all that. But like, what would you say for people to look for to make sure they?
So there's a couple things.
Yeah.
That's a big, that you can go down so many channels with that question.
Yeah.
So first, look at your provider. If you're going to get anything aesthetic done, look at your provider. Of course, we're not perfect every day. We care more about getting you ready some days than ourselves.
Right.
So it's not uncommon to go to someone and they're not like 100% put together that day.
Yeah.
However, if you walk into someone, say for lip filler, and their lips are the first thing you see when you walk in that room, you should probably leave if you don't want to leave like that.
Right.
You know, and so, and I know we still, like, I have lipstick on over my lip, blushing today and
Right.
everything, but the majority of the time when you're going into a provider, you kind of want them to have a look that you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
Right.
if they look like the cat lady,
Yeah.
Right.
don't go.
Right.
So that's
Yeah, if they
always,
look like the Joker.
yeah, that's not a good idea. So that's like a number one, I think, indication kind of
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
first thing
your
you can
provider.
look
That's a
at.
good
Right.
point.
You can look at that. How they keep their space. If things are put together really well, they're probably a
Nice.
nicely put together person. If things are chaotic and disorganized, they probably are a
True.
little bit chaotic and disorganized.
True.
So
Yeah.
things like that. But now each state, that is such a hard question because some states are not regulated for what I do. So
Is
here,
Oklahoma?
Yeah, very. So Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, kind of these middle states,
Yeah.
all are have stricter laws and
Right.
training requirements. But then you go to Florida, you go to Texas, you go to California.
Anything goes.
It's pretty easy to get a license there and all that. And then I think even like states like Arizona, I don't even think they're regulated at all.
Oh, interesting.
So you do have to make
So
sure.
fly to Oklahoma and see Becca.
Um,
Moral of
you
the
just,
story.
You just want to make sure that that person looks the part, has the training, goes
Right.
to continue education.
Their place looks nice
And
tidy.
testimonials, you
good
know.
reviews.
Yes, good reviews.
Absolutely. And yeah, just ask questions, make sure you're comfortable.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's
thank you.
good.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, no, that's okay. Okay, so what is I would like to know one transformational story that you just love and that really sticks with you, whether it's somebody that you did a trauma, on, or just cosmetic.
So I have quite a few, obviously. Typically, most of the breast cancer ones are that. So not to... My favorite actually was the cutest. It was this lady, and she was so sweet, and she came in, and I don't know that she had that much expectation. She had her more reconstruction than most of my people have had. Like someone had done a skin graft and kind of twisted up skin and tried to make it 3D and everything. But at the end, it was so cute because she went over to the mirror, and so she had what kind of looked like nipples, but they were colorless and kind of patched together with skin from different areas. And she walked over to the mirror, and she was probably late 60s, you know.
Yeah.
And she gets over there in her gown, and when she looks, I saw these little tears in her eyes, but they were so happy.
Yes.
And she kept opening her gown and going,
Is this real?
and then she kept going,
Flashing herself.
She was. And then she kept going, this is kind of fun. And it was probably the cutest thing I think I've ever
That's
seen. And it
awesome.
made me so happy.
Yes.
But it gave her so much joy.
So much joy. I mean, she was so happy.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
what
cool.
confidence
Yeah.
that can bring back to somebody.
Yeah, well,
that,
because every day, you know, they're getting out of the shower
Yeah.
and they don't see
right.
nipples.
Right.
And everybody else
Yeah.
sees nipple, you know?
Right.
So,
yeah. And it's something that you used to see. And
yeah,
now you
and it
don't.
wasn't your choice that they got taken
Right,
away.
exactly.
So,
Right. And I think in a case like that, especially breast cancers, there's so much emotional trauma that leads up to that happening in the first place. Like that's the last straw that's probably just it takes away your confidence.
Yeah.
You know, and just the journey of it all. So
Yeah.
when you get to do that, that's like the finality of like, I'm back.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the confidence, I bet, really boosts. Okay, so what is a common misconception about your profession?
Well, pretty much that everything we do is like strong and noticeable. So all that bad permanent makeup that you see out there,
Yeah.
that's kind of what people think when they see permanent makeup, when they hear it,
Right.
because that's all the general public notices.
Right.
They don't notice the 20 other people they walk past who have
Yes.
it that look nice.
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, look into the camera and look how beautiful that is.
You know, it is funny because I tell everybody that, you know, that it comes up. I don't just like, hey, I have permanent makeup. I am now, obviously.
Yeah.
But
Well, you told your mom and she like booked the next week.
yeah. And my sister-in-law and all the rest of my family has
Yep,
seen Becca.
yep.
But that is one thing that when I tell people, they're like, what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, it's all permanent. I have my eyebrows, my eyeliner, and my lips, which I do have a little bit of lipstick over. But everybody's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, it looks so natural. I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, that's a good.
Yeah,
permanent
that's
makeup artist.
that's the
Yeah.
goal.
So that is
It's like
that
a
is
great
a
haircut when you can't tell you got your haircut.
Right, exactly.
Yes. Okay, so moving on, I would like to talk about a little bit more about the beauty and the confidence kind of area of your
Okay.
business. So, how do you see external beauty, like when you do something to somebody, impact their internal environment or their internal self-confidence? Like, because I know that is such a huge thing that I think maybe another misconception is it's all cosmetic, it's all
Right.
you know, flashy,
All
and
for show.
but it's really not, because as women and men too, I
Yeah.
know you do things on men, it does something to your self-confidence. And so
Right.
talk a little bit about that.
So the way I look at beauty, because I've always been in the beauty and loved beauty. And you know, when you're younger, everyone's like, oh, that's so vain. Oh, that. Well, no, I've always looked at it more of the way you wake up every day, the way you see yourself sets the tone for your entire day. So if you wake up and you look in the mirror and you're like, gosh, I look rough, your whole day kind of
Right.
starts off like that.
On a negative.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where if you wake up and you just look in the mirror, you're like, okay, not so bad.
Not bad. Hey,
Yeah, exactly. Your day just goes so much better. So I feel like the way you feel about yourself completely affects your relationship. I think it affects how people do their job. I think it affects just their overall everything with life.
Yes.
So that's my personal opinion, though.
Yes,
But-
I totally agree. And I feel like, you know, there's so much pressure to look a certain way,
Yeah.
but it's really about the way you feel.
Right.
About
It's more
yourself.
for us. It's not really
Yes.
for other people. So once you
Right.
kind of remove that pressure of what do other people think I should look like, because I won't even entertain that. If someone
Right.
comes into me and they say, my husband said I need a red lip, I say, oh, that's great for him. He can
Yeah.
come get one. What would you like?
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, because it's you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so whenever I get those types of things, I don't even entertain that, because our beauty is about us. It's to
Right.
make us happy. What we're doing is not for anybody else. It's for
Exactly.
us. Now, other people get the benefit of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I know my husband's always like, why is her husband mad she's getting it? He should be so happy. He doesn't have to wait for her to get ready, and she always wakes up looking good. you
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
Yeah.
But
It's a good
that's
husband.
not, I know. But that's not how everybody always thinks.
And
Yeah.
let me say something to the guys. Even if it's not 100% like what you would want to see, maybe, if your wife loves it and it makes her feel better about herself and it brings that joy will come into the entire family.
Yes.
Yeah.
So support whatever
Yeah.
your wife loves and wants.
Absolutely.
It's so true. And just the efficiency of
Yeah.
it all. For me, that was really the main thing that I love so much, is because I could achieve a similar look with makeup, but I
Yeah.
had to put it on and then it came off and it was
Yes.
swimming. And I mean, my hair is dark, but my eyebrows are blonde,
Right.
blonde. So you can't see anything when I don't have, permanent makeup. And
Right.
so it's the efficiency. So I wake up and that's half of my makeup routine
Right.
gone that I don't have to do.
Absolutely.
So that, like, the time saving is
Yeah, it saves most
so
people,
worth
even
it.
the most minimal makeup wear, it seems to save at least 10 to 15 minutes a day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let me say this. There's no financial benefit that we're getting about talking like this. Like, it almost sounds like a mini commercial.
Oh, sure.
But it's just because you get discounts. There's no deal going on here. We don't get any part of
I
what
just
you
want
make.
the world to know.
You
Go
love,
do it.
No, you love that so much and saw what it did to you and your happiness and everything. You wanted it done. So I want people to understand that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
Transparency.
Yes, there we go.
It's just a great resource.
It's just
that
something
I
that
want
makes
everybody.
yeah,
to
it
know
makes
about.
people happy.
Yeah,
So it's
exactly.
just something you do for yourself that makes you happy, just like a lot of aesthetics are.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
guys
exactly.
working out.
Yeah, there you
like
go.
if I miss being in the gym and I start looking a little sluggish or whatever, like I got to get back in because that
Yes.
affects me personally.
Yes.
Me. When I
Right.
look at me in the mirror every day, I got to see something there.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's such a great point. It's like, especially women, mothers, working women, you have to do what keeps you going. You have to keep your vibes high and keep yourself up. So whether it's permanent makeup or, yoga or whatever it is, you have to invest in yourself. Like, you can't invest in your family and, not do anything for yourself, because then you're going to drain yourself.
Do.
Yes.
A lot of moms just constantly.
everybody else.
And they.
That's the way
don't-
my mom was.
That's how. Yeah.
Everybody else.
Everything's for everyone else, and they feel guilty almost when they do
Right.
something
Yeah.
for
Right.
themselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I think the mom almost, or the wife or whoever, should almost be a little bit more selfish, because if it's very backwards. If she gets herself in a place where I'm good and I have a surplus of energy and joy and love and all those things, it does flow down to the rest of the
the whole
family. But
family,
if you're
yep.
depleted, everybody else is going to get the brunt of that. So
Right.
be a little more selfish
Yes.
for yourself.
Absolutely.
Self-care.
Self-care, yeah. Okay, so speaking of that topic, outside of work, what do you do to recharge? What are your hobbies? What brings you joy?
Okay, so I am actually a very old soul. I am kind of boring, surprisingly. I like all the bold
No.
things. And I think
But you're pretty, so it doesn't matter.
I really.
You're pretty boring.
There we go. We've got it. I look like an extrovert. Everything about me kind of says extrovert. I am
Right.
actually pretty introverted.
Really?
Yes, so I don't really match my appearance,
Right. How
we'll
funny,
say,
yes.
or the things I like. Like I can be wearing which I don't have them on today, but normally I wear glitter shoes, and I just think no one can see me, and I'll be out and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, everybody's
okay.
looking at you like, oh yeah, I do look like
They're
this.
looking
Like,
at
these shoes
me.
are a little bright. Okay, I thought I was invisible in what I liked, but I just got. Okay, what do I do?
What do you do? What do you love? Yeah.
What I do, I just really enjoy sitting on my patio with my puppies
With your dog.
and my husband. Yeah, I'm.
That's
kind
her exactly.
me.
Is it okay? There
Yes.
we go.
No,
I
she-
am the exact same way.
She'll sit down with a book
Extrovert.
or a bath, and
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
else can go away.
My hobby is sitting with my dog right here on my lap,
Yep.
and either with a book or nothing.
Yeah, sometimes just sitting
yeah,
there, like I'll sit
yeah.
there and I'll listen to birds, and I'm kind
Yeah.
of an old lady, but
Yeah,
that's
I
okay.
love it. Well, that's
Yeah.
great. Well, that was
Well,
one of
probably
my.
because you're around people so much.
am.
Yes.
You want to pull back and
Right.
just have your private
Right.
time
Right.
that is alone for you,
Yes.
for your own self-care.
Yeah, I think if I take like a week off work, I'm much more social. But every day I am
Yeah.
with people.
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
very close. Like I'm
Right.
touching people the whole day,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I'm within a foot of their face for
Right.
hours at a time.
Right.
Wow.
So it's like, yes, at the end of the day, I'm kind of like me time.
Give me my
Yeah.
space.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was one
That's
of my
awesome.
questions, is like, how do you keep your vibes high because you're with people all day,
Yeah.
every day?
Yeah,
So
I pretty much
it's just
just
sitting
kind
on your
of
porch.
yeah, I kind of just hang to myself in the
Yeah.
evenings and on weekends. Sometimes we'll go to the lake or we camp sometimes.
Yeah.
But more peaceful things than people
Right.
probably expect from me.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to be the one at all the social events. I'm
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, I love that, because it just tells you somebody that looks so extroverted.
Uh-huh.
can be so chill. Like, it's not all about like glam 24/7. Like, you don't hold yourself to the standard or where you have to be out and about all the time.
Yeah,
it's like,
no, I
this
don't.
is,
yeah.
this is what happens after 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
after,
exactly.
after
I go
clients
home and
go
I get
away.
my fuzzy blanket and I sit on the patio and have
love
my
it.
little puppies.
That's awesome.
That's so funny. That's exactly what she does.
I'm the same way.
Just to be by yourself.
Yeah. Leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, fun question. If you weren't in the beauty industry, which you said you have been or wanted to be
Yes.
since you were a little girl, what else do you think you would be doing if you weren't in the beauty industry?
The only other career I had ever even like questioned when I was in makeup and I was wanting to make people's lives just better. When I was trying to decide, I did toy with going to nursing school instead.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, I'm a beauty girl. I don't think I'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
So,
You're like, I would cut them open and then I'd be like, I need to fix that.
yeah, I'd be like, yes, it would not be, and just, things in medical are not as, it's not
glamorous.
the same. Yeah, exactly.
But I could see that though, because you're very nurturing and
I had thought about that, but then I was like, no, we're gonna stay with what I like.
Your real passion.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good. Okay, so what advice would you give somebody who is wanting to step into a new career, a creative career, or a service-based business? What would be your advice that you'd give them?
My advice to give someone looking to step in,
Because you've built your brand from nothing.
yes,
Like you came right into it and started day one. You probably incorporated. You probably made sure everything was right. But then how did you kind of build that?
I mean, yes, I did. I had an attorney write up all the things and did all that stuff. How did I, I honestly, I kind of looked at it as if I keep doing regular makeup forever, I'm okay. I love what I do. However, I want more. I want to learn new things. I didn't really put a lot of pressure on myself. I looked at it as more of just growing.
Right.
Yeah.
And expanding and doing things that made people happy without attaching these huge goals like, oh, well, I made this much doing this. I have to make this much doing this or it's not going to work. I actually did both for a little bit as I kind of grew. And then once I got to a point where I was like, okay, nope, I'm doing this. This is my favorite.
Yeah.
That's kind of when I transitioned. So I guess the best advice I could give someone is obviously don't ask everyone for their opinion. If you see people around you that are truly successful and positive people, maybe you want their opinions. But if you look at the person who's stuck, they're always negative, they're kind of bitter, they're probably going to steer you away from most of your dreams. So that's probably not the person to look to. Set down and write some goals out. Write some pros and cons, write a little timeline of what you want to do and start working towards that. That's kind of, for me, that was the best way.
Yeah, and I love what you said. It's kind of like you're not really attached to that goal or attached to that outcome. I think that's super powerful.
I didn't really put I have to do this by this time. I've never done that.
Yeah.
And there's moments when I might be like, okay, I'm starting to get a little bit overwhelmed. I need to back off for a month and still, see clients, but maybe take one day a month off extra or 2 or 3.
Right.
So I have time for myself and then get right back into it because being an entrepreneur can be exhausting. It's amazing. But it can be exhausting because it doesn't really end.
Right.
So,
exactly.
Yes.
And you're doing it all by yourself, pretty much.
Yes.
And I think that's something we talk about here a lot is like frequencies and what your mindset is attracting, and if you're constantly attached to this specific goal or this specific outcome, it's so rigid that, maybe God or the universe is wanting to bring you something even better, but it looks different than what you have in mind. And you're kind of blocking that like, greatness. So it's like if you're not attached to the outcome, then just go with the flow.
Yeah, if you go, and most things you do, I've learned, if you do them with like a good intention, they always work out.
Yes.
And it works out better than you expected.
Absolutely.
But everyone who, even students that want to train, everyone that I ask, okay, why do you want to do this? And their first thing is, I want to make 6 figures. They always fail.
Yeah. You're like, that's
Not one has
really
ever made it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And if you get, oh, I want to make people feel beautiful, those girls always make it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's so good. I love it. Okay, so talking a little bit about frequency, raising your frequencies, and because that's what we do here at Soaak, because we encourage everybody to live your best life and be of your highest vibration. For you, what does living your highest frequency or living your best self mean? Like living in alignment, what does that mean for you?
It's typically being authentic to myself.
Yeah, that's good.
Just staying with what is true to me.
Yeah.
And that's how I just live my life, and everything works out that way.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. And
Authentically pink.
Yeah, there we go. Exactly.
and they say that authenticity is one of the higher frequency like vibrations that you can carry.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Is
Yeah.
being authentic. So when you see somebody and they are being authentic, you can feel it.
Yeah.
Like you don't even have to speak. You just feel.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
what I've
Exactly.
always felt from you, because you're
thank you.
authentically you, which is
That's
amazing.
that's always my goal.
Yeah.
Is just to be myself.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
awesome. Okay, so just a couple more questions. Who inspires you the most in your life?
And don't say me, because I would get a bunch of fan mail.
So what's a little bit different about me is who inspires me the most. I'm not going to say that there's one person.
Yeah.
I'm going to say if you're someone I spend time around outside of work, or even that I choose to work with, I won't work with anyone who doesn't inspire me.
That's great.
So
Good.
pretty much every single person I'm around in my life has some type of quality that inspires me. Whether that is with business, or whether it is with how they treat their friends, or, you know, how good of a mother, which I'm not a mother, but still I respect
You're a
that.
dog
and
mom, so I
I'm
think
a dog mom.
I
There's
think
that.
you have the same qualities.
But typically when you look at people, everyone around me, I can draw inspiration from someone.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I think so much of that is your perspective, because that question could have been one person, your mom, your dad.
Yeah.
You know? But it's the way that you choose to look at your life and to take inspiration from all the people around you, which I
Yes.
love. It's just, that's such a great perspective.
Thank you.
Perspective to have.
That's
Yeah.
kind of how I've always picked who I hang around. I'm like, if
Yeah.
there's things about them that I love, like good people,
Yeah.
you know, they inspire me.
Right.
Yeah.
And that helps you raise your vibration just on a daily basis. Is
Absolutely.
putting yourself in a position where you're around the people that lift you up,
Yes.
instead of, you know, having negative energy
Yeah, we don't want any of that
on you all day. Yes.
Well, and there's a lot of studies that show, you know, show me the 5 people you hang around the most, and I'll tell you where you're going to be in 5 years.
Yeah.
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 Well, that's very true.
You know, so
Yeah.
it's like that. Like, are people encouraging you? Are they negative? Are they depressed? Or are they happy for you? Are they inspirational? Can they teach you something? And if you choose with intention those people to be around, then that you're gonna be a direct reflection of that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, I think my takeaway, what I'm learning from this, is don't tell everybody what you're planning. I love that. Like, you don't have to go ask everybody's opinion.
Right.
If you have something that you're inspired to do, go do
Do
it.
it.
Do your research, you know, look for the best of
Right.
whatever you're trying to do, but just don't be afraid to just go do it, and don't be attached to the outcome of the end. Just if you're going with that good intention, then
Yeah.
just go for it.
Yes.
I think that's such a great takeaway.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And if you do ask an opinion, make sure that person's opinion you're getting is someone that you look up to and
Exactly.
has had success in the areas
Yeah.
that you
Right.
want success in.
Yes.
I love it.
Nice.
So, okay, so how can people find you? You know, get yourself out there. Tell us all your social medias.
Okay. So my, I'm Babe Ink is what my brand is. Ink like tattoo ink, not incorporated.
I'm
like
glad
I'm
you
the
said
babe.
that, because I would have went INC.
Yeah, so sometimes I go places and they'll put ink, and I'm like, oh no, they think I incorporated myself, and I'm calling myself the
That's
babe.
what I would have
But
thought.
no, it's like ink, like tattoo
Yes,
ink.
because that makes sense.
That makes much more sense
Babe
than
ink.
yes. And so on Instagram, I do have some underscores in there, but
Okay.
I'm babe_ink_beauty.
Okay.
I put underscores in there because it looked like it said babink, and it drove me nuts.
Everything's got to be
I was
aesthetically
trying to figure out
perfect.
pink ink.
Yeah, well, that would have been a good one
ink
too.
pink.
Yeah, there we go. Except for a lot of clients don't love pink, I've noticed.
Oh,
So
true,
not that I
true.
care, because
Yeah.
clearly
Because you
everything's
don't, that's
pink.
right.
Yeah.
But I was like, babe, okay, babe, ink for girls. That's what
Yeah.
we're gonna go
Yeah,
with.
that's perfect.
And I do
love
have
it.
men, and the men handle it very well when they come in. They're just fine.
Yeah.
They know what
Sure.
they're coming into because all the branding matches and it matches me. So.
Exactly. They know you're good at what you do.
So Instagram's my main one, but I have a website also, which is babe-inc.com. And I, of course, have a Facebook and a TikTok, but if you Google it, you'll find it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This has been amazing. Do you have any more questions for her?
Do you ever do this for guys much, or is it primarily for women?
Primarily women. There are guys starting to get it. Bigger cities more than here, not as much. But I do have a few male clients. Typically, areola, if there's been some type of trauma, or scar. Yeah. And then occasionally eyebrows. And then sometimes like the tails will stop growing, or they'll have a little scar in there or something. I've seen on some other artists' pages lately that they are starting to get some men getting a light lip blushing done, very light. Wow. And then same with lash enhancement liner. You can just go and shadow between the lashes just a little bit. So that is starting to kind of be a little bit more of a thing.
Yeah, that's
How about
really
abs?
Cool.
Abs.
Like not just a 6-pack.
That's a spray tan.
8-pack
or that's going to be more of a spray tan, most likely.
I don't need it, but Christian was saying he may need it. No, that's I've so enjoyed this. I was a little uncomfortable coming on at first because I thought, what am I going to add? But I'm so happy to hear of your story, how you transformed yourself, did your own business, and making people feel beautiful on the outside, which in turn makes them feel beautiful inside. Yes. Being yourself, not caring what other people think. There's so many great takeaways in this. Thanks for letting me be on.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for being on. And if you guys are interested at all in any of this that we're talking about, go to her website, check her out. She's incredible. You won't regret it.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your time with us today. After you've subscribed at Soaak Podcast, please leave us your questions and comments. Remember, your frequency is what you think about most frequently. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.